Hello, my name is Bonolo. Welcome to my channel. Today we are doing a Robben Island tour. First stop, the ticket office. I got mine in person, but you can also get them online. Now here's where things got a little spicy. My 3 p.m. ferry got cancelled thanks to Cape Town's unpredictable weather. I rescheduled for 9 a.m. the next day, only for it to get cancelled too, this time due to technical issues. Luckily, a super sweet lady at the office came through and got me on the 11 a.m. ferry. The ferry left at 10:30 and arrived just before 11:30. But let me tell you, nothing could have prepared me for that ride. It was so bumpy, and with every wave, I thought the ferry was going to capsize. An entire hour of bumpiness. My heart broke knowing I have to go through another hour of this on the way back. This wasn't my first boat ride. I have been on some before and they were smooth. After the crazy ferry ride, we got on the bus for a tour around the island. We made stops at some historical sites where the guides shared stories. After that, we had a prison tour facilitated by an ex-prisoner.
And I'm also welcoming you to Robben Island, the World Heritage Site. And the site also symbolizes a triumph of a human spirit against adversity.
Robben Island was originally used to isolate people with leprosy. Unfortunately, many never healed, and the Leper Graveyard is their final resting place. In the past, people digging on the island discovered human remains and boat fragments. Because of that, digging is strictly prohibited anywhere on the island to this day. Another historically significant site is the Sobukwe house, where Robert Sobukwe, a prominent anti-apartheid activist, was kept in complete isolation from other prisoners. The apartheid regime feared his influence and leadership, so they created the Sobukwe clause. It allowed them to extend his detention indefinitely without a trial. During his imprisonment on the island, there were reported incidents of broken glass particles found in his food. After being released from Robben Island, he was placed under strict house arrest, which continued to limit his movements and freedom. Sadly, he got sick, and despite his worsening condition, he was denied proper health care. He later died from lung cancer complications, but his family and supporters firmly believed that he was slow poisoned. Another key historical site is the lime quarry. Prisoners were forced to work in the quarry, where they had to break rocks into lime used in construction projects without protective clothing and no proper tools. The constant exposure to lime dust led to permanent eye problems and chronic respiratory issues. Prisoners used their time in the quarry to educate one another and strategize about resisting the regime. The stones shown here were placed by prisoners. It started with Nelson Mandela placing his, and other prisoners followed. The stones are of different colors, symbolizing a beginning of the rainbow nation that would eventually emerge from apartheid. The John Craig Hall was constructed in 1943 and named after the civil engineer responsible for the island's expansion during World War II. The Garrison Church was constructed with prison labor, and it's currently used for special services and commemorative events. Some people come to get married here. The Church of the Good Shepherd was built by lepers. It was only used by men, and they were not provided with chairs because lepers could only stand or lie down. The Kramat is a Muslim shrine which honors the memory of the Prince of Madura who died on the island. His body was returned to his son in Indonesia.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ferry. I'll share my story with you when we get to this section. On the left-hand side, that's where Mary is kept. Mary. If you had committed an offense in prison and the sentence warranted for you to be left, they'll strip you naked, tie you on Bloody Mary, and give you lashes. Minimum 2, maximum 6. In this cell here, beautiful paintings. Now we have 4 sections, F, G, D, and E. These are the only 4 sections where you had communal cells. Each cell, at any given time, it will be between 60 and 80 prisoners, sharing 3 toilets, 3 showers. This is the diet that we used to get. If the colored and Indian prisoners shared their bread with any black political prisoner, that black political prisoner will be punished severely. We're allowed to have bread once a year in December. In 1979, I was charged for sabotage, convicted, and I was brought here. When I got to that cell, there were 4 children. 4. The youngest was 13 years old, and the oldest was 15 years old. And when I got here, I was only 17 years old. In that cell, that's where we were tortured. Physically, emotionally, and mentally. After being severely tortured, that's where I lost 80% of my vision in the right eye. As a 17-year-old boy. Is anybody from Germany in here? Now I'm defeated. Now I need to be very kind to my German friends. So I won't say bad things about you. Though you did bad things, but I won't mention that. In this section, ladies and gentlemen, that's where political prisoners from Namibia were kept. Those guys were charged in Namibia, some of them in Pretoria, charged under the South African laws, not Namibian laws. They were convicted, sentenced, and brought here to serve their sentences. And Namibia, then, is the only unfortunate country to be colonized twice. First, by my friends over there. No, I'm not saying that, that's historical. But my friends over there colonized, no, it was then Southwest Africa. And when my beautiful friends from Germany left Namibia, Namibia was colonized by the racist regime of South Africa. When I got to prison, my name stopped being Terence Ferry. I was given a new name by the prison authorities. Not Billy. Not Billy. My name became 6879. 68/79. I was the 68th prisoner to be processed here. in 1979. They'll give you a card that you have to keep with you all the time. And all our privileges were not the same. If you are classified Group D, you could only write one letter to your family per month and receive one letter from your family per month. And that, again, ladies and gentlemen, it was not a right, it was a privilege. And our letters were heavily censored. This is how they started censoring the letters. They scratched out everything that they deemed fit that you are not supposed to read. But you know what? As prisoners, we were clever. we were clever as prisoners. Yeah. On a sunny day like this, we'll go outside, go to that letter, and be able to read everything that they thought they had censored. But these guys, they realized that we still get information, and they came with this method of mutilating the letter. This is how our letters were mutilated, ladies and gentlemen. But again, prisoners are smart. No, we're very smart. Because whatever you wanted, whatever information you wanted to send outside, it will be in the first paragraph coded. Okay. Here the guy says, I've just returned from a shopping spree. Prisoners were not allowed to go to shopping spree here. There were no shops. Yeah. The only shop was for the prison officials. From 1962 up to mid-1978, prisoners slept on the floor. Were issued with these two sisal mats and 3 blankets. The bed that you see there at the back is thanks again to the Red Cross. Black political prisoners were treated far worse than dogs. Our prison issue was long-sleeved shirts, short trousers, no underwear, no socks, no shoes, no jersey, no jacket. Education in prison was never a right. It was a privilege. However, amongst political prisoners were doctors, lawyers, teachers, and we believed in teaching each other. When I got here, I refused to study. I refused because I felt that education was my right and not a privilege. And as a result, I am not certificated, but I am highly educated. A number of prisoners from time to time consulted with the psychiatrist because most of us suffered from depression. As a means of avoiding that, we chose to consult with the psychiatrist, but the medication that was provided made us more sick. And a lot of ex-political prisoners left this island as zombies and mentally worse off than when they got here. In this section, ladies and gentlemen, leaders of different political organizations were kept in here, and this institution produced 3 presidents of the Republic of South Africa. The first president being President Nelson Mandela. The second president was Kgalema Motlanthe, and the third president was Jacob Zuma. Mandela spent 18 years of his life on this place. The remainder of the years, he was in Victor Verster, then was moved from Victor Verster to Portsmouth prison. The person who spent most years on this island was Jafta Masemola. He spent 27 years here on the island. Over here, ladies and gentlemen, this is where President Mandela used to have his garden, planted peppers, chilies, tomatoes, which he shared with the other. That vine there was planted by Communal Mandela. Our leaders used buckets to relieve themselves. And every morning, a prison warder will unlock the cells. They'll go to the other end of the section, empty those buckets, clean them, and put them over there in the courtyard to refresh. When we go in here, President Mandela's cell was the fourth one on your right hand side. And that's the only cell that you'll see that red bucket, which they used to relieve themselves. We may also take this opportunity to wish you a Merry Christmas and a prosperous 2025. I thank you all.
I went to Robben Island thinking it was all about Nelson Mandela, but honestly, there are so many people who went through so much and shaped the history of South Africa. I was deeply shaken. Words cannot fully describe the injustice and inhumanity Black people endured here. The journey back took 30 minutes and it was way bumpier than the ride there, but at least it was short. Apparently, the duration of the ride depends on the boat, and this one was smaller. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. I'm never doing this again. Never.